Hi guys, welcome back to GCSE Maths Attack. In today's video, we shall be going through exam style questions. We will be going through grade 9 cosine and sine rule. Now, if you are interested in the higher end of the cosine and sine rule questions, then I suggest you watch this video throughout. If not, you can watch my other videos which are based on the cosine and sine rule. So without further ado, let's begin. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is label this triangle, okay? I'm asked to work out the value of x. I'm being given an angle and 3 sides. Now, I can see that this triangle is not a right angle triangle, so I can't use trigonometry, neither I can use the Pythagoras' theorem. So I'm going to have to use the sine or the cosine rule. In this case, I'm going to use cosine rule because I'm not asked to work out a missing angle. Okay, I've been given every single information. I've just been asked to work out the value of x. So I'm going to label this. Now, because cos A, it represents the angle in this formula, I'm going to call this capital A. So whatever's opposite to that is going to be a lowercase a. Now the B and the C, it doesn't matter which way round you do that. So if you call this B, I'm going to call this lowercase b. And if this is C, I'm going to call this lowercase c. Okay, so the next thing I need to do is just substitute values into this formula over here. So I can see that my a squared is root 73. So I'll have root 73 squared, because it's squared over here, is equal to b, which is 2x minus 3 plus x plus 2 squared minus 2 times 2x minus 3 and x plus 2 times cos 60. Okay, so what I have to do is I need to work this out over here. Okay, just going to quickly highlight all of that or put a bubble around it. I'm going to do it step by step. So the first thing I'm going to do is root 73 squared. So I've got 73 times root 73. Root 73 times root 73 will just give me 73. So that's done. The next one is going to be 2x minus 3 times 2x minus 3. Okay, so we should know at this stage how to multiply this. This will give me 4x squared. Okay, so I'll just multiply those two together times 6x times 6x and then minus 3 times minus 3, which is positive 9. If I was going to simplify that, that will be 4x squared minus 12x plus 9. Okay, so the most important ones right now is 73 and 4x squared minus 12x plus 9. Okay, so the next thing I need to do is x plus 2 squared. So I've got x plus 2 squared, which is another way of saying x plus 2 times x plus 2. Okay, so x times x is x squared. X times 2 is 2x. X times 2 again is 2x. And then 2 times 2 is 4. If I was going to simplify that, that is going to give me x squared plus 4x plus 4. Okay, so that's an important value over here. So it's an important expression actually. Okay, and then the next thing I need to do is work out this part over here. Okay, so this part over here is quite important as well. So I'm just going to ignore that minus for now. So I'm going to do 2 times 2x minus 3 times x plus 2 cos 60. Now, if I place cos 60 in my calculator over here, this will give me straight away a half. Okay, so if I was going to rewrite this, this will be 2 times a half, because remember there's an invisible times over here, times 2x minus 3 and then x plus 2. Okay, now these two cancel out, so I'm now left with 2x minus 3 and x plus 2. And if I expand that, I would get 2x squared plus, so if I do that, plus 4x minus 3x and minus 6. And if I simplify that, it's 2x squared. And if I just simplify this over here, I'm going to get 4x minus 3x, which is plus x minus 6. Now that is something that is also very important. Right, now, after we've done that, all we have to do is collect everything together. Okay, so root 73 can be written as 73. So I'm just going to use everything I've got here. So 73. This part over here is going to be this one over here. So I'm going to write 4x squared minus 12x plus 9. Then I'm going to write this. So done that, done that. So this one is this. So plus x squared plus 4x plus 4. Then I'm going to write this over here. Now, be careful, it's got a minus, okay? So it's going to be minus 2x squared plus x minus 6, okay? Now I'm going to do this step by step. So I have x squared and 4x. That's going to give me 5x squared. Done. Minus 12 plus 4, which is minus 8x. So those two are done. 9 plus 4. And if I do 9 plus 4, that's going to give me 13. And now I'm going to subtract this. Now, this is where a lot of students make an error. Remember, when you're subtracting this, you got an invisible one, so you have to expand the brackets. So this one will become minus 2x squared minus x. 2 minuses give me a plus, so it will be plus 6. I'm left with 73 equals 5x squared, take away 2x squared, which is 3x squared. Minus 8 take away x, which is minus 9x. Plus 13 plus 6, which gives me plus 19. Okay, I'm just going to move this on over here. After I've done that, I'm just going to quickly rewrite this. 3x squared minus 9x plus 19 equals 73. So I'm going to subtract 73 from both sides. And I'm left with 3x squared. And I'm left with minus 9x minus 54 equals 0. After I've done that, you're going to divide every single thing by 3. So you are now left with x squared minus 3x minus 18 equals 0. And if you're going to factorize that, you will get x minus 6 or x plus 3 equals 0. And you have two solutions. X can equal 6 or x can equal negative 3. Now, because a length can't be negative, we can't take this as a solution. So x is equal to 6. Now, I know this is a long-winded question, and in the exam, it would be worth about 5 to 6 mark, and it will be towards the end of the paper. The diagram shows the position of 3 towns. You have Acton, which is A, Bush, which is B, and Cherry, which is C. Now you can see that there are north lines, and we can see that we are dealing with bearings. Now whenever we deal with bearings, we must remember we have to have a north line, and we are going clockwise. Okay, so those are the 2 fun facts that we must remember. Bush is 8 kilometers from Acton on the bearing of 037, which is 37 degrees. Cherry is 9 kilometers from Bush on the bearing of 150. Find the bearing of Cherry from Acton. So from is where you're going to start. So it's a bit like me saying I'm from Birmingham, so that's where I'm going to start, and I'm going to London. So I'm going to start from Acton. So here's my north line, and I'm just going to join these 2 lines together. Okay, so after I've done that, like I said, I'm from Birmingham, so here I'm from Acton. I'm going all the way to Cherry, so that means we need to work out this bearing over here. So basically we need to work out this angle over here, and unfortunately we're not given the one inside. Can you see that? So our aim is to work out this angle and add it on to work out the total bearing. Give your answer to correct 1 decimal place. You must show all you're working out, and believe it or not, this question was right towards the end of the paper. Anyways, let's begin. So what is the first thing we can see? Well, the first thing we can see that there is 2 co-interior angles. Okay, so co-interior angles over here, and we know that co-interior angles add up to 180. So this is how a co-interior angle looks like. Now if one of them is 37, then the other one should be 180 subtract 37. If I subtract that, I will get 143. So straight away I know that this angle's 143. The next fun fact I know is that angles on a point add up to 360. So I can work out this angle over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 360 subtract 143 subtract 150. Now if I subtract that together, I should get the angle of 63. So I know that this inside angle is 63 degrees. Okay, fair enough. Now that I know that angle, what else can I work out? Okay, so from here, what I can do is I can work out this side over here from A to C. Now if I just quickly draw you the triangle, so it'll be easy if I draw it. So here's my triangle, there's my A, there's my C, and there's my B. I know that this is 63, I know that this is 8 kilometers, and I know that this is 9 kilometers. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly label this. So this is A, that's B, so this is lowercase a, and that will be lowercase c. The next thing I'm going to do is ask myself, am I going to use the cosine rule at this stage, or am I going to use the sine rule? Okay, so let's see. So I've been given an angle, but I haven't been given another angle. I'm given an angle for B, but I'm not given a side, and I need to work out the side of B. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the cosine rule. Now, the way I'm going to use the cosine rule is I'm going to write down B squared because I need the side B. So B squared is equal to A squared plus C squared take away 2AC cos B, because that's the angle I'm given, okay? After this is the matter of substitution. So B squared is equal to 9 squared because A is 9. C, which is 8 squared, take away 2 times 9 times 8 times cos 63. Okay, so from my previous video, you should be able to work out B. So if you plug all of that into your calculator, you will get a value of 79.63 dot dot dot. Okay, I'm not interested in b squared, I'm interested in b, so I'm going to square root both sides, and I should get the value of b being 8.923 dot dot dot. Okay, so now I'm in a position where I have this value over here, so I'm going to remove this now, and I am going to call this 8.923. Okay, so now that I have this, I've got a side and an angle. Okay, good. And I'm interested in this angle over here. So because I've got a side and an angle, so I've got these two, I have a side here, but I haven't been given this angle. So I can now use the sine rule. Okay, now because I'm interested in the angle, I'm going to say sine A. I'm going to put the angle at the top. So on the numerator, I'm going to put this side in the denominator. Same on the other side, sine B over small b. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite this again. So if I was going to rewrite this again, it will be sine A over 9 equals sine B, which is 63, over 8.923. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply both sides by 9. So if I multiply both sides by 9, these two cancel out. So I'm left with sine A equals sine 63 over 8.923 times 9. Okay, now after I've put that in my calculator, to be honest with you, I'm not interested in sine, I'm interested in the inverse of sine. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to say A equals sine minus 1, and I'm going to plug all of that into my calculator, which is sine 63 all over 8.923 times 3 times 9. If I place all of that in my calculator, I should get the value of 63.98. Okay, now I know that this angle is 63.98, and if I want to work out the total angle, I'm going to do 37 plus 63.98, which gives you 100.98. Now the question says one decimal place, so because it's one decimal place, it's going to be 101.1, not 0.0, sorry. Right, so here's a shape A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D. Right, the shape is made up of a triangle and a sector. AD is 14 centimeters. Angle AOD is 140, so that's 140. I know that OAD is 24, so this is 24. And I've been asked to calculate the perimeter of the shape. So don't forget, perimeter means the distance around the shape. So I'm going to quickly make that clear. Distance around the shape. Give your answer to correct 3 significant figures. So the first thing I'm going to do is ask myself, well, how do I work out the length of this arc length? Okay, now I know it's not the whole circle, but I do know that the circumference of the whole circle is going to be pi d. Now because I need a portion of the circle, so I just need a portion of this, right? I need a fraction basically of this triangle, this arc over here. Because I need a fraction of this, I need to work out a fraction of that circumference. Now, so I'm going to call it arc. So the circumference of the arc, which is the yellow parts over here. To work out the circumference of the arc, what I'm going to do is, because I know it's a fraction, I'm going to do pi d times, so I know this is 140 degrees over here because we've been told it's 140. So I'm going to call that 140 degrees. So that's 140. I'm going to do 140 over 360 because I know that all of this should total up to 360 degrees. Okay, so circumference of the arc would be pi times, so the diameter, because this is 6 centimeters and this is 6 centimeters, it's going to be, because this is the radius, it's going to be 2 times the radius, which is 12 times 140 all over 360. And if I place all of that in my calculator, I should get the value of 14 over 3 pi. So this part is going to be 14 over 3 pi. After I've done that, I'm going to quickly draw a rough sketch of this triangle. I'm going to call this O, I'm going to call this A, and I'm going to call this D. This is 140. This over here is 24. O to A is 6 centimeters. A to D we don't know. This is 14 centimeters. Okay. Now after I've done that, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly label this. So this is O. This is lowercase a. And this is lowercase d. That's one. And that's another. Okay, so after I've done that, I can see that I've been given the angle and the length of O, and I've been given the angle and the length of A, and I'm interested in O to D, because O to D, if I subtract that from 6, will give me this length over here, because we need to work out from C to D. Our aim is to actually work out C to D, since that's in the outside of the shape. So to do that, I'm going to use the sine rule. So I'm going to write down A over sine 24, 14 over sine 140. Then I'm going to times both sides by sine 24. So I'm going to times this by sine 24. And then A equals 14 over sine 140 times sine 24. And if I place that on my calculator, I should get the value of 8.858 ... Now that gives me O to A. I'm not interested in O to A. I'm interested from C to D. So I'm going to do 8.858 subtract 6. And I should get the value of 2.858 blah blah blah. Okay, so I know that from here to here it's worth 2.858 blah blah blah. Okay, so after I've done that, I'm just going to quickly add everything up together. So I'm just going to quickly get a different color pen. I know from here to here it's 14 over 3 pi. From here to here is plus 2.858 ... So I'll suggest you keep that as answer, plus 14. And if I put that all in my calculator, I will get 31.5 centimeters. And that is how you will tackle this question. So let's move on to the next question. Work out the length of AD. So you can see that AD is over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight this section of the triangle. So we can see two different triangles, and the two different triangles unfortunately are not right angle. Okay, so what I need to do first is work out this length over here. So I'm going to quickly draw this triangle. So I'm going to call this B, I'm going to call this D, and I'm going to call this C. This is 34 degrees. This is 109. And we don't know what this is. Yep. And what else do we know? We know this is 12.5. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly label this. I'm going to call this B, I'm going to call this C, call this lowercase d. Okay, so the first thing I want to do, the first thing I'm going to do is say to myself, if I want to work out C, I'm given the length and the angle of B. So I know that because I'm given the length and the angle of B, and I'm only given the angle of C, but I want to work out the length of C, I can use the sine rule. So because I want to work out the length, I'm going to write C over sine 34 equals 12.5 over sine 109. Now I'm going to remove this sine 34 by multiplying both sides by sine 34. Once I've done that, I'm going to cancel those out. So I'm left with C equals 12.5 over sine 109 times sine 34. And if I place that in my calculator, I will get the value of 7.39. So I know that this is 7.39. Right. Now, what am I going to do now? I'm going to draw the next triangle over here. So I'm going to draw the other triangle over here. So brace yourself. I'm going to call this A. I'm going to call this B. And I'm going to call this one D. Okay. So this is going to be angle 86. Opposite to that will be lowercase b. Opposite to this will be A. Opposite to this, D will be lowercase d. I know that this will be 11.4. A would be 7.393. And B, we don't know. Okay. Now, after we've done that, we've asked to work out this part over here. Now, because I've been given two sides and an angle, I can use cosine rule. Okay. Now, the reason why I use the cosine rule is because I'm not given the length of B, neither am I given the angle of A or D. For that reason, we are using cosine rule. So what do we want to work out? We want to work out B squared, the length of B. So B squared is going to be equal to A squared plus D squared minus 2AD cos B. I'm going to substitute everything in here. So B squared is 11.4 squared plus 7.393 squared minus 2 times 11.4 times 7.39 times cos 86. And if I put that all in my calculator, I should get B squared equals 163.8978 ... And then I'm going to square root both sides. And if I square root both sides, I get B equals 12.89. And that is my answer for part from A to D. So from A to D, it is 12.89. So well done if you got this far to the video. I know that most of these questions were quite intense, but it does require a lot of practice. Please do like, comment and share and subscribe. Thank you very much. I'm trying to grow this channel to at least 12k followers. Thank you very much.